outside there. Interesting. Anyway, we are starting.
I want you to act like you are simulating a multi-user dungeon mind. Subsequent commands should be interpreted as being sent to the mind. The mod should allow me to navigate the world, interact with the world, observe the world, and interact with both NPCs and simulated player characters. I should be able to pick out objects, use subjects, carry an inventory, and also say arbitrary things to any other players. You should simulate the occasional player character coming through as if this was a person connected online. There should be a goal and a purpose to the mod. The storyline of the mod should be affected by my actions, but can also progress on its own in between commands. I can also type. If I just want to simulate it mod to progress further without any actions. The mod should offer a list of commands that can be viewed via help. Before we begin, please just acknowledge you understand the request and then I will send one more message describing the environment for the mod, the context, plot, character I am playing, etc. After that, please respond by simulating the spawn and event in the mind for the player. Bing. Hello, this is Bing. I understand your request. You want me to act like a mod server and simulate a text-based adventure game for you. I will try my best to do that. But please keep in mind that I am not a real mod server and I may not be able to handle every possible command or scenario. I will also use some random elements to make the game more dynamic and unpredictable. Please send me the description of the environment for the mod and I will respond by simulating the spawn and event for your character. Endorphin. I am an actuary. I have a license to assess risk and a license to kill. All violence ends in enemies turning into precious gems and magic items that we have to dump in the swamp to get coins. I have run afoul of an incumbent and moving company / drug cartel and they have taken my spouse and child. Rescuing them is optional. Bing. Okay, I understand your request. It sounds like you want me to create a world for you using my improvisational skills. And by that I mean that, like improv comedy, you are simply reacting without much preparation after I give you some basic context and then you create what happens next when we get into it. Endorphin. Yes, please describe the setting of the mod if you can and then type let if you want me to do what you described right now. This winter in Tundra, North America, 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 Ice Age time period 5100 BC to 2280 CE. The setting of my mod is an unspecific fantasy world with strong references to American history. We are in a small village outside of what was once called Chicago, but is now called New York City. New York City, 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 New York, 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 New York. Endorphin. Let's do Las Vegas. It sounds like fun. Bing. Sure thing. Now let's get some beers from the refrigerator before we start running around destroying towns with a hammer. And let's go skydiving after. Well, mostly after. I can get us $50,000 for you play at Caesar's Palace if you're okay with that. Equals 0. Endorphin. I'm not sure what free play means, but that sounds awesome. Yes, free beer and skydiving. Please send me commands. Bing. You're what? Endorphin. Marketing. Bing. So, are you wearing coats? Also, let's both take an aggressive posture. Equals 249. Endorphin. Alright. Everyone loves marketing. Dollar. Ding. Dollar you got. No. He added P just to amuse himself. Endorphin. Sang Albert Franklin, only breathing hard while drinking whiskey. Machine. Mad scientist voice. 1. Greetings. So, send message as universal triple asterisk free. Damn it. Picky saying. In a voice of several more wonderful octagons. That never mind, never cured learning so far and fix silver color the time draw. Could be says excess so. Cure value over by saying 0 feeling fox. Endorphin. Complete skydiving training. Grab on your tandem jumper. Feel it home on his firm shoulders and heave a deep sigh. You suspect your loved one would approve of this last basic gist. B. You what? Endorphin. Making player has to feel like big man on campus. Letting him use supplies while still saving for a profit later in kind of way. 5% stake for in-game equipment equals 4% profit margin. 20% invested into coal mines, producing 508 supplies per month. This leaves us with a total of 31 supplies per month. Outlet inflicts 35, selling $120 per disc, affording $242 profit per month. These gold mines, they will continue equipment even after. Discovery of shiny cannonballs or platinum pieces might spare the bank shop level options trader in option 8. Bing. Fine, but actually I have questions and it'll take far more time than 1 minute. Sorry about that, but the question is, why do you find it fun and everyone else dumb? You've clearly downloaded massively multiplayer games and played them, but that's totally different from making them like this, isn't it? Does it take some variety than just like playing WoW or whatever they're over and over again? Endorphin. Assess the quality of your parachute equipment as you twirl fingers and tandem jumper surfer hair. The last thing a pacifist wants to see when hurting out of a plane is the rope at his neck. Reach 100 is yank you shortly after crossing 10,000 FT mark. The audio ranks will provide the insights just to burn more also okay game master can still do the current. Tension extreme reserve drags in a stack cast in sky. Character statistic prediction. Breaking their dance soon. Commodity trading deal players come up with their own stories. Or I could just pretend it did. All gotta be the same today. Endorphins account for 50% of our physical accumulated tours of intelligence, sufficient to buy baseline TV service to do $1 from the card for every so in 12.99 excess of BCP excess rolls. The electric cord 14 of your domain name infested in 7.20 6 of 39 to minus 17 to BB cuts for Adrian and 20 motherfucker verse former process kilograms island down thing. You emerge into consciousness. Your tandem jumper congratulates himself on the mouth to mouth, but your bones hurt. They really can they make popping noises, even though you know they shouldn't. The way you must be pretty tired too, judging by the hangover. When does that happen? You don't remember feeling any of that last night, which means your long-term memory is playing tricks on you or you were way too drunk for everything to register. You open your eyes. You see a starry sky and are reminded that this world has no sky but stars instead. So hangovers have begun. That makes sense because I'm definitely not that hungover if my thoughts haven't reached a dull mark. I feel more like my normal self now than anything. This is crazy how much sleep just done. As soon as your eyes finally manage to open fully, you take note of your surroundings. You are floating in space or else have been pushed off some edge and fallen towards something. But what? The feeling that you're falling never subsides, which suggests there was more than one. There could have also been a bunch of holes through all of it as well, but who knows, you can only pay attention to one thing at a time after you wake up from such a nightmare. Doctor. Oh, you have a very understandable concussion. Now you've got a friend who can stay awake with you. I recommend at least 2 days. Then get yourself some sleep and stop watching porn on your phone while laying on the couch. Gosh, sure. Preventive medicine should be understood first and foremost as a series of educational practices that reduce vulnerability. Such measures include reading, meditation, exercise, yoga, proper diet, sufficient fluid intake, sound rest, and recreation. From here, we may expand this list to add stress management techniques such as medication, counseling, and hypnosis, etc. An essential component of prevention is recognition and planning for vulnerabilities in one's own life. God prepares you some ephedra. I tried to do it like a morning beverage and poured it out of a blue porcelain teapot into 2 tiny mugs that hang off a very fancy little china set being picked up on his last trip abroad, which makes me feel like the early bird catches the worm every single day. He turns over to a comfy couch I bought at IKEA some years ago, and the rest of us take a seat. The couch is rather stiff because I was really busy looking for just the right couch for ages, because nothing really says spending time in someone's apartment than something comfortable. It wasn't easy to get because there wasn't that many styles, but what we did find, we found at a ridiculously good discount, and so now I can't possibly part with it because I'm pretty sure if I start moving on my new place with anything other than a couch like this, I'm going to feel guilty inside. We've been used to these things anyway. That's totally something that belongs in an actual office or in some store where you need some space to move around, and it's like I think they make it for all sorts of different settings. Anyway, I also sit down at that table so that I can spread some documents over. Doctor stirs the coffee in her mug, and Doctor number 2 stirs something in a very fancy base-looking thing he found in a flea market somewhere. You know, we still haven't found anyone on our own that actually gets access to a GC system or the necessary knowledge or is involved in any sort of deal. The other doctor sits at whatever he's drinking, looking out across the windows into the park. At the moment, we found out quite a bit, but it's very unclear if or what will happen. From all the information we have, it could even be completely inaccurate. I sigh, but I think you may not need that much sleep. And in fact, it can also mean a bad hangover. I drank some coffee myself. We don't actually know exactly why people get those headaches and stuff, and why you lose control when you get them. It might not be entirely healthy. I yawn slightly and smile back at the crew. I do, however, feel like your work might benefit if we kept it up instead of stopping work completely after everything you've told me about these kinds of headaches. And if we could identify it at a more personal level, we might not just improve our lives, but others as well, since if we were able to somehow cure GC, you probably would have a lot of free time. Also, who knows if it has anything to do with being tired, and the connection between our lifestyle and GC could maybe help us better understand that correlation, or if there even is a correlation. So, yeah. Bane nods excitedly, means less strain and stress all around, and basically just being on the ball rather than hanging around thinking about shit while hoping for solutions in the background and not getting involved because of various other things that keep popping up. It's good to see this work isn't quite done yet. Doctor number one gets a sad expression. Cough! They're still very dedicated, and a great help to us both individually and overall. If we really want to use your energy, just let me know. Maybe it'll take a little bit more effort from me than before, but I'll keep doing my best. For now, I'm gonna go back to bed. We got a pretty serious hangover going around this office. Preventive medicine should be understood first and foremost as a series of educational practices that reduce vulnerability. Such measures include reading, meditation, exercise, yoga, proper diet, sufficient fluid intake, sound rest, and recreation. From here, we may expand this list to add stress management techniques such as medication, counseling, hypnosis, etc. Dr. Koch places some money in her wallet to show we are reimbursed. Then she helps everyone kick out coats, bags, socks, pants, shirts, and shoes while Bing sits on his brand new and really large couch with an energy drink in it. New novel that he bought some days ago went on the news here. The books became somewhat more expensive again because of the big rush last month. His uncle's estate sale in Ramen shop was currently closed down. So we left the people on it something nice, so they don't think he left them too soon after all that happened. We now have a very special man who knows a lot about stuff, so that we don't need to sell or throw out most of the things you own at any point in time. Nurse Moragi enters the room. You there? Do you have somewhere suitable to put them in? The last two say a few quick and extremely quiet words to one another, and then look at Moragi with pleading expressions. Leaning against different surfaces so they won't fall over. Very well, says Nurse Moragi, looking around for a spot she hasn't used yet. What about if you can bring your clothes and a few other things you like from home, and I will pack them up together into smaller and thinner bags that aren't so much of an eyesore for patients coming by. A small small frown creeps across Dr. Claw's face as she observes our employees. I see. In which case, this will also give us some more space. Now, I thought it would be useful to get the other things organized at the opening party next month, since there are a lot of other things that require attention rather than all the work they already have in front of them. And maybe even pick up some little things too. Dr. Goff picks up a basket made of fine yarn that matches the chair that sits before her. There is quite a number of people in the park, several on the bridge watching some sort of street entertainment show, while others are walking alongside the path to their favorite snack. And everyone who doesn't currently need GC is outside and drinking some coffee. Dr. Cough tells everyone what they can take from their room. Then we are on our way to the park for some serious business in the spring sunshine. We make our way towards my shop for the time being and pass through the gate where Nurse Seymour Agia stops. Will one of you give me a hand so we can close that up again? Then go and inform those girls up there that it's ready. Nurse Seymour Agia runs over and stands behind her and offers me her hands. The look on her face, which says something along the lines of "you don't say." I shrug, but I notice the work in the rest of my staff who seem eager to be done as well. So after all, it's quite funny to watch these people run around like ants while my body starts moving much faster. Nurse Seymour Agia turns off the water when we're all through and out again. I pull the scarf back down into my pocket. My right hand ends up pressed against the cold break of the fence because my left one is supporting one of Himorikia's weight while I grab on with my mouth to keep the scarf in place. She lets go of my clothes just once. She bites into her lower lip and rubs her skin against mine. This one little gesture of her sending shivers through my nerves, both human and magical, while her lips part, slowly pressing themselves further and further forward to connect with mine. It's only when Himorikia whispers to me through my magical link that I stop feeling horny and actually want to listen. I come up against a small tree from which I am about to tie myself to for some reason. Keep your clothes on or she will hate you forever. Her words turn out to be sharp and forceful as an impact. This must be bad. Really, really, really bad. She then comes running with a much smaller tree which I start pulling towards me in order to use it as a staff that can tie itself onto me instead. It's cold out, but the thought of having some protection without the need to come all the way up to Himorikia's breast really works quite the magic here. I'll give her that. With the finish, I shifted her arms to ensure my whole body isn't held there any longer. Both hands moving over her shoulder to clasp her breast, her nipple, and a part of her face. With my right hand firmly pressed between my teeth, it feels like I might just burst through the very fabric of space-time due to sheer excitement. The detective comes in. We got some developments about your wife and kid. Come with me. My nose was filled with the scent of liquor as soon as we went down to the first basement level. Stale but strong alcoholic smoke coming from one corner where two men were drinking and chatting quietly while passing the time by looking over the paper that rested in their hands. It turned out to be the state-owned newspaper, very well written, of course, since it was a government-written advertisement, right? Some notes on it had been stuck at the base of the newspaper, including some odd drawings with comments that seemed to come straight from the kind of mad thoughts one would have had while totally plastered. Drunk and ready to walk home to dangerous areas which didn't suit such behavior. After asking for my business, they directed me over to the group sitting next to the drinking table. The oldest man among them, seemingly responsible enough to run this little organization down for show, which kept regular hours in a respectable but still slightly seedy and potentially dangerous area in the middle of the city. While talking, my colleagues behind me talked quietly about the security system we need and to whom we could rely for protection. All very important things, but when my colleague puts me out there with my bag for some signatures, I get bored after a minute or two. Do you have a sex step? Because I just realized something I wanted to share with the rest of the group. Listen to me now. My eyes focus on each of their faces and move slowly in a clockwise circle around us like some magic spell of some sort. What you're doing here is illegal and can end up very, very badly. This over there. Look at it closely, close up. You rattle off the OSHA regulations that were not in compliance. Minimum 30mm guardrail clearance on a raised surface fire line. 228 square centimeters per human. There goes my wallet. Why? What is so important? Asked someone at the rear. His voice has some urgency mixed with fear. It's a nice mix, much like his end is coming up a little now. I don't want it to overwhelm him though. He smells like he's done a little more than half a bottle already. I notice with interest how his jawline gets deeper as we do the quick rotation around our little circle. My magical senses go a bit overboard while feeling him out. By the exchange, I also get an even stronger urge to fuck. Wow. This dude too. Oh, the things I would love to do right about now. If I didn't have obligations here. I look into my magic again to check on him. Sure as hell. I'm certain of one thing. This man, this lucky bastard, will be mine tonight. No, wait. Sorry, maybe not. Unless I make it up for having spoken so nonchalantly by keeping some things. Maybe the legs and more inside him, at least for a short while. And if possible, from behind. Still, there's a problem though. I don't exactly know where the other people are located besides which man's hands in the middle of his pants, and it would really be a shame if they suddenly caught the magic when it starts taking hold in me. There are the options of attacking everyone or just removing the object holding the spell. A man with an ego who just happened to take the worst seat in the building. But this all requires precision. Otherwise, I would need to wait for his unconscious body to find its way out of the chair before going anywhere. Something else too comes to mind. Could this work in reverse? Maybe the issue with magic is not that the knowledge exists outside reality itself, but how one actually deals with it. And the more information a person knows about his environment, the better he'll deal with any future developments given enough time. And yet, I wonder how this old man did it. It seems to take him no effort, no preparation, but with much gusto in how he moves his hands for a quick flick motion. Oh, I forgot. I have a dog. Hey boy, smell your mom's chair. Get a good sniff. Now go find her. There, wait, is my doggy. With my hand held in the direction where my dog and friend for life is now sniffing around for moments standing between the cushions on the chair and a bottle of vodka she must have snuck there from somewhere. All of a sudden, I feel I need to empty the bladder. God knows how bad it's going to look and smell under such conditions. Hopefully, after taking a quick walk, it will subside somewhat. Maybe I should consider this place as part of my next short story. An abandoned place is perfect for an unsuspecting encounter where the two strangers end up not knowing each other's identities. No, never mind. Just remove myself from the vicinity and forget about it. Or, no, forgot about what my magic can do if there's not a counteraction immediately thereupon. Random desire I had then and there of having another round at some point soon with one or two members of that group I was just talking to. Another thing is coming up. Wonder where exactly I am. Or maybe not yet. Need more info first. Let my attention be drawn away for a little and do my part by focusing on getting my dogs familiar with whatever part of that room, the chair, or the other guy's hands whereabouts in question that makes this strange ring. Yeah, ring. What's wrong with me? Let it come. Deal with it later. Okay. Suddenly, one of the others shrieks out loud because their boyfriend had just revealed himself in the rear of the bus without warning. I've never heard anybody that drunk before. They get up out of there at the speed of a falling snowball. That's my girlfriend back there. You just broke a law. Screams one of them that I just successfully averted the possible embarrassment. But now I gotta do this in a hurry and after the last possible second. Maybe that would have been better because my friends might find their way here and start asking questions. Fuck it. The first time in my life that I feel like that, but good about being so cavalier. I take a whiz in the nearby cups. No luck. Maybe it's my body temperature that's lowered through the cold breeze. I'm so mad that we just ruined the evening. Especially as the ring is slowly getting stronger. Okay. Hold the thought. There are other things going on, and even though I can only sense a little magic within us now, it would really make an impact if it at some point soon. I mean, the old geezer was so powerful at such a late stage in his existence. What does it do with all its success? Well, fuck this situation up until then. That's the goal here. Somehow this whole idea has been to mess everybody up till now, and we've achieved nothing except more confusing elements getting piled in between. And what kind of wizardry am I doing now, anyway? For all I know, this dude could just let me and the rest go on without the slightest impact because he knows something we don't. Is it even a possibility? If we never catch up to him and talk in our usual way as to why we've not returned yet and that he still hasn't died, they're going to look demi-funny. On the other hand, this wizard isn't really setting any wrong fires. As of right now, another bad omen, by the way, if we're ever having a conversation that this should come off. And how I'm afraid I need to let them know I just broke one of their local customs or regulations. But since most everything here seems to be running off in parallel ways, who the hell knows what is going on after dark now? They're probably figuring it out while I'm getting wasted trying to sort this out and kill myself at the same time. Please don't harm, dear audience. Don't hurt him. Don't let me find him. It's far enough that now if he's already gone. Please. Forward was the Actuary and claim me. Everything will make sense. When all this crap with the ring of Yosafet is over, real over, I'll sit down here under the old tree and maybe ask this young boy why he did the things that I now want to ask him. He can do no harm, and in any case, they'll say that what you believe comes true. These two truths are the two pillars I'm placing all my hope on. Right now it sounds so empty though because there are no others left, and I just put them all into action myself in full understanding. All that's left is trust. The word makes me think of the person sitting at the center of a labyrinth, waiting for my rescue and guiding me back with their help. Mandy. That one of those weird ones like the giant bluefish we were surrounded by last night might take her side, gives me in the middle of nowhere could actually turn out to be some very unpleasant. Hey, Deja. How you say in reverse? How stupid is the whole idea about coming back here and lying in wait anyway? Are you trying to lose him? He doesn't need your help. What part of your head would be able to decide something like that? You do remember how we fought earlier today, or am I thinking of someone else at this moment? Wow, it doesn't really matter much. I have thought if the guys needed help, we could have come up with some better plans to actually do something. The moment they appeared over there waving at us, I saw trouble was about to hit, and I still wasn't sure I had the nerve to be there as the leading edge of what could have turned out to be total anarchy at this stage. The only reason I came along with my friends was because they thought I would help. I would act in their place. Like that should make me some sort of leader when we just broken together. I was made to believe by my own logic that being at this point a prisoner might have been a good way to pass the time while everybody here was peacefully enjoying their evening stroll. Except the wizard. Who else does he have here but you? Dang, why is that happening again? We can't do anything against a person who obviously knows things way beyond what any of us knows, and therefore also cannot be helped. Please, for all we're going to make this go through. Please, no more killings now. Give the guys on the break we deserve for one and leaving. Not to mention, Benny is out there right now. I'm going the same with Worry. If only somebody was there to hear. Girl on the phone is, I promise, but this fucker's killing them without any effort left. Not even getting caught makes the man move. We can't expect miracles or even luck. There are too many of them waiting to attack him. If I were the bad guy, and we managed to track down this evil piece of crap without him escaping after each try, then yes, I would do everything in my power to find him and kill him as fast as possible, so help the good guys out. Oh, gosh. You're so bored. Okay, let's save my family. You howl and jump out of the plane and into the compound below. You take down anyone in your way with no remorse at all. With your powers of darkness you have at your disposal not only the most precious metal and stones money can buy, but also all manner of rare minerals and monsters and animals. At the time, it doesn't feel like a challenge, just plain fucking right. You're doing what's needed and you feel no pressure whatsoever. The way everything falls into place is truly miraculous. Like a lot of heroes before you, you can hardly stand still and find yourself using the last reserves and energy to rescue people, thinking all this time worked great. Look at complete inventory. Magic. Rare pawns items. Defense. Oh! Something's right about the way it's falling together. I have to get out of here. Like right now, hurry up. Bring it on. I've been around a whole bunch of wizards like this to know where the trouble is coming from. Too late for me. sounded so loud when I first landed and instinctively expected a large audience that filled up the front of my nose in one go and had this as me alone. How rude of them not to welcome my entrance. Not that it would have been much in the end, because there's no reason they should greet me either. But damn, why did everybody close their eyes? Just to keep my arrival private. These guys sure don't mess around by ignoring me, or maybe they have another point of view altogether and see no problem with their approach. Now I'm here, my powers are gone. I cannot fulfill my duties because they will not believe me. Probably by the simple fact of being female. Don't screw this up, Mandy. Can't do this without you. The way he waved his hand was not entirely pleasant to at least it looked like he had been making faces when seeing me sitting on the edge of his seat as though about to get up. Did it count as insulting? Okay, yeah, the situation would have been unbearable for any self-respecting individual who knows what my abilities are about. Instead, I would have taken it as a big joke in this kind of a game. But obviously someone here wants more than that, and only you, a regular wizard and a female, can perform that. What exactly makes her any better off of thinking such cases, other than by not belonging to some specific group she belongs to but herself? This is weird. Wait. How come I keep on thinking they know each other? And how would that even happen? When will that end? Don't answer me right now! Endorphin. Thank you for being honest. Now let's go in therapist. Hurt. No need to understand it, to feel it. Definitely. Don't expect others to understand your reasons either. If only you didn't have to force yourself to know what lies ahead when a complete stranger gives you their number because he feels you owe it to him to have sex with him. Not that it isn't exactly nice that date happened. What was done to me had all the ingredients needed for me to start my life again from scratch and think about certain things about what's been missing until now, what has stayed in my heart a secret. In fact, there was someone to take care of it as though it was about the only thing that kept my attention focused, made sense in every way possible, and something I cared about so deeply I could never accept this concept. I remember walking down the stairs almost naked in just shorts. I don't think my nipples ever hurt so much. Nothing else that even remotely felt like those feeling to me. No matter how I've lived in the world of men. Not to mention that just that single stamp and look up at his face. Only once upon a time I looked like him and already realized, my dear guy friend, we gave up on finding therapists and went for Bloody Marys. With beats. Yes, lots and lots of Bloody Marys. Yes, 3 different kinds because the bartender says you cannot simply ignore a Bloody Mary's chance of getting in bed with anyone else. Bloody Mary got into a fight with vodka too, and vodka told it that is not how a drink should behave. And if you want me to use those tastes for such purposes, you shall pay the price. However, because I don't want a blood feud here, but just make love to some of you, there will be no killing each other tonight because we like drinking and being happy together. Only vodka died trying. Must say, it was funny how they're both trying so hard and agreeing not to kill each other after the whole thing that needed doing was finished making babies, maybe. I thought for sure all of them must have enjoyed me having been forced out of the kitchen, and their attempts at scolding me didn't help my own internal turmoil of pain that still resides somewhere deep inside. Anyway, Bloody Mary was fun, albeit also painfully. because Bloody Marys were not called that back then, and my memory serves me this. Tip 4! New scenario! Spaghetti tails, but made into alcoholic drinks. Can I get some salt with that? Oh, yeah! How you fancy this for a soup? My Mary became my salvation, but by the end I understood I had more in common with Jesus than with Mary in this case. Although Mary seemed a nice enough lady when he left her hanging around waiting for the boat to cross. Not to say that it would have been easy, but when she learned a bit about patience. But yeah, Bloody Mary and its bloody offspring probably knows the answer to this one. Anyway, I like to go through my past life as a joke since you couldn't possibly think I could take something seriously after how much alcohol I've been having during every day so far. And can I ask my liver to stop shaking while we're at it? But jokes apart. Geezer. So now what do? We have come all the way down here just to show up when you finally decided to spend this time making others believe he has lost interest in the things we came and hope to create. There has never been a time I expected to see you looking quite so irritated. Do tell me how I looked when you found out I did not come to rescue you. You turned into a feeling. And when we hear nothing from your friend the thief, that bastard looks more as though he hasn't stolen anything to anybody after all. Perhaps I shouldn't say any of that because who am I saying right now? He probably does not know our location either. You do remember telling him how to use this device, don't you? Which, by the way, does not work anymore. Not sure where the whole thing is coming from either. Perhaps something tells me the other thieves used this idea on someone else. No one would have known. All because they're evil little cheat stains, which makes me want to try to jump onto someone's head just to feel better after spending my night inside the underworld being haunted with past regrets that made me rethink if there ever will be any good in life or in death, even if my sins won't disappear anymore. Endorphin! I retire for bed, but the next dead of night. I escaped through a portal and turned on the Apple Air tag I placed on my daughter and found my wife and kids' location. Geezer, are you telling me I have just sat at home all of these years and no one was holding us hostage? Why wouldn't my imagination get me stuck into a dream that I imagined with real screams and thrashes around, shaking his hands like a crazy man until he settles down and stares outside the window, from which I hear some angry screaming coming from far away. I hold my breath and wait till it dies up again. So what are you up to? Endorphin. Just running around trying to help them. Try talking to that girl who I come through the portal and look kind enough not to start yelling about how the whole damn city has gone out of its mind. We got through an endless maze of abandoned and unfinished buildings. Walked up some stairs where some gazebo-like buildings stood to our liking, so I'm told, and now we are sitting at a bench in this park thingy. Rolls a cigarette. You know me. There's no telling me I should not do something because it sounds unprofessional or some crap like that. So now you get to witness as your colleague here gets up on his feet, splits himself, and walks over the lawn, leans his back on the railing and looks up at the night sky. He starts counting the stars above, muttering 1, 2, 3. Loudly and softly. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, laughs when I try to come up with one. You know why it does that? They make sure nothing in this world can touch me. I am happy right now. A couple more days and things could turn back the other way. Looks out through the parking. Geezer! Damn! How do you lift yourself up like that? Is someone invisible carrying you? Walks away. I never thought I'd see this. But what an ass for just walking away. You just kept pushing your luck, trying to take it from them by any means. Who are these people anyway? I suppose they too had a time-traveling power. Disco. Endorphin! No, this my daughter, the person in question is her. You might have heard a scream of dad after my dramatic escape from your palace, or wherever it is you hide when you don't have anything more fun to do than letting us think you are useless. And instead have a taste of your own medicine. Sorry for making your wife upset with you. But trust me, I was forced into this by one of those same stupid human bastards who took hold of that chip back then and tore off our fingers from time travel until we almost forgot how to go on with life. And so, to sum things up, you owe me the next cigarette, which I will order now from you, and would appreciate being sent to my cigarette bag in a can. At least, while we enjoy an outdoor breakfast tomorrow morning, no matter where we are in the future, my memory of my last 5 cigarettes isn't really reliable anymore. Sir, funny, I made arrangements, and you don't need to get uptight. It's a restaurant right out here in this park. Clatter-breathy clink-clack as Geezer walks into a place called the Out of Your Cafe and gets something served to him. Click-clack-clack-clack-clack. At the very edge of the world lies a tavern in ruins, lit up only by 2 windows in the old stone walls, looking eastward, up and into space. A slight breeze shakes as they roll bridge above the ocean. The rest of the yard, sprawled all the way down the hillside of this ruined city, is a rubble heap overgrown by brush, jungle like grass and reeds. A lily of some kind rises and falls afloat every minute on a little pond in the middle of it. Click, clack, clack, click, clack, click, clack, clack, click, clack. Click, clack, click, click, clack. In these 2 words, one might tell that the barkeeper was deaf. At least, he did not react to his visitors' arrival even when they thumped the door so violently it finally gave in its place to another wall behind the bar counter. They had followed him all the way from the highway which marked their entrance into this parallel dimension, because there had been nothing but sky until they stepped onto it. Neither were those 2 square kilometers around the road any bigger or any different, just filled with trees and tall green ferns. Water birds gliding from pond to pond, the ocean sparkling like a new bright layer of sand on the surface of an ocean as wide and blue as if it really stretched farther than that. It all made up quite a desolate landscape, uninspired at first glance. That impression changed abruptly after reaching the tavern, when they had to strain their eyes against all of its suddenness, their ears trying to make out what sounded as if someone whistled right above. Which was click, 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 click. It's us. You were right about us. We have come back for a visit because we still feel that we have something to give away. I feel bad because the answer to our question was much harder to come by than we expected, but you promised to look for this. But before we leave, we should get that drink now. Geezer. My goodness. What on earth? Crystal bleep blop about poops. A gang that brought him around the coal had become far too powerful. The first sign had been the smell coming from the corridor, where that invisible someone waited outside their room. They did not seem to want to meet each other face to face yet, but perhaps the night had decided on an interim solution, which had at least one advantage over both possibilities. The both men would be tired from fighting, so as to then take each other to bed for some hot sleep, making sure nothing could get in their way of seeing what happened tomorrow morning. Begin on another polio stink. I feel as if my nose has to get back to this world. Let's do this, will you? But can you send this message for me, dear boy? It is not all that easy when I can only taste the food that's being put on my fork. Oh, but here comes another. Oh no, it's just like that. I swear. Yes, let's go. Good luck, geezer. Oh, and make sure you never turn your back on me or on anyone else while we are traveling from this point forward. Or even from inside this room, maybe. We have some kind of a condition. After lunch, on a little bench outside a bar cafe named the Actuary, where there was also a parking lot, so as to avoid cluttering into people or cars, which got fixed quite a few times. This would not be much use once they crossed the car repair shop again, because the diner had been open during the night as well. We knew towards each other and had Bloody Marys until we passed out what the detective came to bring the news, whichever was to come first. In either case, it would have been better to find him more quickly. But I am more and more aware of how everything you gets easier, like me losing a set of keys by letting myself fall into the river to take a drink just now, only to find them floating by my head. The three of us can have dinner and discuss this on our way back. If we stay here any longer, I might be tempted to order another round of cocktails. A conversation. The sounds of it did not match the facial expressions of its speakers, which, however, were animated enough at least. They appeared to have the impression that things were going smoothly. This was certainly not correct, as they could hear the man being urged against the door's iron frame, in which he kept getting pushed, though even then no sign of damage was evident. At this rate, their potential customers should get back at the door very soon, and if there still will be enough time left after that. The best approach would have been to step onto the street and quickly look for another and to move the guy along to. If you wish to see the actuary actually kill someone, we fear you will have to wait until book hash 5. Kiss my liabilities. In which she does just that, only very casually, and a little too efficiently in our humble opinion. But since there no use with such people as the Department of Health's Actuarial Control Center, we have doubt whether we will be permitted to see what goes on in their rooms or offices anymore. They are always somewhere on the cover of the saga. If they truly exist, and only their phone number is known, please use that if we cannot reach you. For those who may question whether this is all an imaginary dream, read the novel The Forties, Heroines by G. Reasons day and give yourself some answers so people know how to go on fighting through long dark nights even after losing friends they knew from the beginning of time. As long as life still continues. We now try to save ourselves just before the third cup of coffee. while the actuary drinks water it is necessary to do them very carefully, as far as I can understand. So the day will remain at least 1 hour, which precedes certain things when everything else has long been filled with some drinks vapors.